How's it going, everyone? I wanted to hop on today and show you guys a workflow that I built in n8n that's been incredibly useful for my marketing agency, and I think could be really useful to you guys. That's why I want to share it. It is something that I've seen a couple people in the community talk about. It's a lead builder workflow that has essentially automated the list building process and prospecting, which is something that was taking me a lot of time. I was manually doing it. I'm a full-time college student as well as starting this marketing agency, and so outreach was something that was very time-consuming for me. But this workflow has essentially allowed me to automate it. And over the past couple of days, I have built a list of over 1,300 contacts. About 700, 650 of those have actual emails, working emails that I'm going to later engage into an email campaign. So very exciting stuff with this workflow. Quick backstory, this was something that I originally had built in Claude Code as an agentic workflow. However, that didn't really allow me to automate it enough. I wanted to input cities that it could go and find leads for me in, and I wanted to wake up and have all those leads found. I didn't want to be on my computer using up Claude Code, running the workflow. And after messing around with that for a couple of days, I realized that n8n was honestly probably the better option, which is why I went and built it there. I think this is a really good use case for n8n as opposed to Claude Code. But I'd love to kind of hear your guys' thoughts on that as well in the comments. So looking at this workflow, I have a Google Sheet here, and this is kind of where I control all of it. So down on the bottom here, I have a campaign configuration tab, which essentially allows me to input a city. And you can see these are all the cities that I've run it so far. But it allows me to input a city, a niche that I want to do the scraping from, and then search terms that I want to do. So right now, my marketing agency, we're targeting hardscaping contractors. And so I've already ran the city. I'm from Indiana, so I'm going to say Indianapolis, Indiana. And then from here, I would just go over and drop this down. And then I'm going to set this active column right here, basically tells the workflow if it's run or not. So every hour it will go through this campaign configuration sheet and it will look to see if it's true, like Indianapolis is, it means that it has not ran it yet. And if it's false, it does that at the end of the workflow so that it knows to not go back through and scrape these cities. So I'm going to set this to true. And then essentially that's all I have to do. I can come back and, like I said, every hour this workflow is going through and it's extracting the cities that it hasn't run yet from this list, which is Indianapolis. And then it's going to essentially pull all of the raw leads from Google Maps, which I have right now, thousands of, or like a little more than 1,000 raw leads. And then it's going to filter it. So it's going to deduplicate it. It's going to get rid of businesses that maybe don't actually fit the niche and it just pulled from Google Maps on accident. And then over here, I have all the filtered leads with their contacts. You can see right now prospects with an email 666, and this has been compiled over the last day or two. So now moving on to the n8n workflow that is behind all of this. The main component that runs all of the data scraping is Apify. I use a Google Maps scraper on Apify, and I'll attach that in the link to this video as well. But that is kind of essentially where I get the actual data from. It's going through, it is reading the campaign configuration sheet to see what cities have we not actually run yet, that it filters them out right here in this code node. And then from there, the cities that we have not run, it will run those in the Apify data scraper. It will essentially organize them into a legible data that it will go input back into the raw sheet so I can see all the raw data we're extracting. And then also it will filter it and score it for SEO opportunity and paid ads opportunities for these businesses. And then it will add those to the filtered sheet as well that we saw back here. And then down here, this is something to update the campaign configuration sheet so that at the end of the workflow, it goes through and it changes either the city or cities, however many cities it ran. It changes their activity to false, and then it tells me the date that I ran it. So if we look back, all these cities I've ran, we can see Lake Forest, Illinois. I extracted that data on November 25th. Now, another component to this workflow that I've not yet finished, it's partially working, but not fully, is I have this email status column in my filtered leads. And so essentially I built out another workflow on n8n that I'll show you in a second, that it goes through every single prospect. And if it has a website, but does not have an email listed that the Google Maps scraper could not find, it goes through and uses Firecrawl to scrape the website and see if it can find an email. And if it can't, it'll just tell me it cannot find the email on the website, meaning that there's no email there, which is fine, but it will go through and tell me that. And then if it does find an email, it will tell me that it found the email. That way I know that it was found by Firecrawl. Now, like I said, this really hasn't been all that helpful yet because almost every single company, if they do not have their email in their Google Maps data, it's likely not on their website and they just aren't wanting to share it publicly, which is fine. But that is a challenge to this Firecrawl example. Now, a possible solution to this that I know exists is I know there are email finders out there that have APIs that I could hook up a workflow to. I just haven't done that yet for the sake of cost, but it's definitely something that long-term I will invest in. But quickly taking a quick look at the Firecrawl backup email finder. And this is a workflow that it goes through the entire list. And if it has a website but no email and it has not been searched yet and the email status column is blank, it will go through and essentially do what I just explained to you. It'll use Firecrawl to try to extract an email, and then it will plug it back into the sheet. So very helpful as kind of a second line to try to find that email if it can't be extracted. So like I said, if you're interested in getting this workflow, I will likely attach it in the description below. And if I didn't for some reason, just shoot me a DM in the community and I'll be more than willing to send it your way. But this has been incredibly helpful, and it's been an automated way for me to prospect and find leads, all thanks to the Vibe marketers. So thanks, guys.